in the 2022 or the 2024 Olympics, LeBron was wearing a very unique shoe. It was called the LeBron 22 Crown Jewel. And we want to, as Nike, have a really focused campaign so we can track and gain market share with a very specific segment that we know follows LeBron. So we want to use this to gain market share against our competitive brands, and we want to launch this and distribute it in markets where we know these people are. So how do we do that? I'm going to show you how to do that with PersonaLive Spend. Okay, so I'm just going to pop into a segment really quickly. If you're familiar with the PersonaLive segmentation, there's two things that are going to be a little bit different here. You're going to notice two tabs. One is the overall spend and the brand spend. So I'm going to pop into overall spend, which will give us a ranked spend across all of our categories or subcategories and brands here. So I'm going to go to apparel and accessories. Within that, we have active and athleisure. We have children, so we can go among these. Specifically, active and athleisure is where Nike is going to be. And so we can see ranked by percent purchased, 9.67% of these people in our panel of 100 million credit cards have purchased from Lululemon in the past year. 8.81% have purchased from Nike, and we see Adidas down there too. So we're seeing a bit of a competitive set, which is really good, and we see where we stack up as Nike with these particular people. And we can also look at that from the vantage point of the average yearly spend. And we can see Nike kind of falls down closer to the bottom here. These people spending $275 on average throughout the year. So these people aren't probably the best Nike customers, but let's go find out who are the best Nike customers, specifically the ones that we know have some sort of affinity with LeBron James. And we can do that here in the Explore tab, which basically allows us to reverse it. We can see for Nike who are our best segments and rank them. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go over here to this brand, hit apparel and accessories, do a little drop down here. We have active and athleisure, and then we can go down here to Nike. Now we're going to see by revenue share, so the total amount of revenue that these segments make up for Nike, who are our top segments. And we see already something really cool happening. Wealthy suburban families makes up 10% of all Nike's revenue based on these 100 million credit cards that we have. But the second segment is City Hopefuls, which is primarily a lower income segment. So we're starting to see that behavioral component pop through where you see lower income segments spending more on some of these brands that you might not expect them to spend more on. This is why people are more than their demographics. But we want to know specifically a very targeted group who's going to spend a lot. So who has a very high average ticket size? Because that brand or the LeBrons, they're $180. So they're not cheap. Who's going to spend more, and specifically which one of those people are following LeBron the most? So we can go from revenue share. We can also look at percent purchased if we wanted to, but I'm actually going to cut this down to we're reviewing this by our 17 segments. We're going to break the nation up into our 80 segments to be a little bit more focused here. So we're going to look based on percent purchased. So in the Heights, 11% of these people have bought from Nike. This is a primarily Hispanic segment. And then we can look at average ticket size. And the number one thing showing up here is college, which is interesting. Where are they getting that money from, right? So that you can see their average ticket size for one buy here. And then we see City Chic, which is EO2, showing up $131 average ticket size. It's not a super high income segment. It's probably $60,000 to $75,000 per household what those people are making. So they have a pretty high affinity for Nike. Now we want to look at which one of these people follow LeBron, and then we want to go find the markets where those people are. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to go do a cross comparison on an XY axis. And then we got Nike, average ticket size, and then we want to go over here to social. We're going to type in LeBron. And now we're going to get our segments by size, and on the x-axis, $140 a pop. And then we have the affinity towards LeBron. We see Harmonic Hamlet being almost twice as likely with an index of 190 for following LeBron, but we have a sweet spot right in the middle. Boom. That's City Chic. Been like one of the highest ticket sizes for Nike and also the highest affinity. So they're about 60% more likely than the average person to follow LeBron. So we have our narrowed in segment with this E segment, City Chic.